Hi, this is Bernie here with Connections Consulting. I'm in my home office still, just kind of wrapping up the day as I close out my day, thinking about the golf course. It's minus 12 in Strathmore. Can't see me on there I like the sun. I'm a sunny day, not much wind, kind of fair weather golfer. I go out on a good year when I've golfed my optimum through my life, and there's been courses through the time of life when I haven't. I've been involved in other things, but anywhere from 3 to 9 rounds a year, that's perfect for me. Some guys go like 40, 50, 60 games a year. That's pretty awesome. That's not me. It's kind of a business, family, close friends thing, and dwell with people like that and enjoy it for the fun. But one of the things we got here, is on our golf courses we have mosquitoes. And how do you kill those mosquitoes? Well, with chemicals, right? Malathion, DEET, off for your personal self. We're a believer in sustainability in your environment, and you make the best decisions to take care of the environment, but you use God's resources through mankind, because I'm a spiritual component company, body, mind, and spirit leadership, CCI, personal, best of self, Samaritan Pro. You come up with inventions to solve problems. God inspires people, perhaps, puts ideas in their mind and heart, and they go on. So why wouldn't you use things? If you can use non-invasive things to the environment, that's perfect. Things that are good science, that don't cause defects. I've talked on my timeline about thalidomide, where, remember that birth thing where the babies were deformed? Well, good science won't do that. There's bad science too, and it's rare and uncommon, but you want to use non-invasive things, right? So we're talking about our clothes today in golf tip number 5, I suppose, because I golf tip apportion things to life in this accommodation series where there's many comparisons. Golf is an individual game, so is living your life. As much as you associate with team and other people on the golf entourage, you got your buddies, but you have your own individual score. So here we are thinking about that, and I'm thinking about the close of business. When you close a deal, and right now in Kiani, I'll just add one more point to the last video. There's 3 ways you can buy the product, okay? For me, I'm a personal distributor, and there's a number of these people around Canada that do this like me, where it's one-to-one sales with others. You key in their ID number onto the website, I suppose. When you go in and order your product, it costs you about $200 a month to get the full package. Sunrise, get up and go. Nitro fix at midday for your energy. And then your sleep product at night called Sunset. And I have those 3. I decided through the course of taking the product to not use the nighttime product because I don't need a lot of sleep. And I found that out about my own body weight custom. So you can save, you're down to about $130 a month roughly. That's still a fair bit of vitamins if you compare that to the average person who might take vitamin C for 8 or 9 or $10 a month. So uncommon to that, you can't dwell in that mindset unless you're investing in your own health and thinking about your body that way. Well, you don't have to be a lean, mean machine. I'm somewhat lean. I got a bit of body fat, but it's more about just good, optimal cardiovascular health and staying fit to me. And I've always accustomed to that, especially since I've got busy running my own business. I'm not at the gym 6 days a week for an hour to an hour and a half being a biff. And there's nothing wrong. If guys want to do that, that's up to them. I'm just in there for 45 minutes, 3 times a week is my goal. If I can't make it to the gym, I go for a short walk, whatever. Get my 3, in my perfect world, pieces of exercise a week. So we go for there. On the close of business, I'm talking about Kiani now in this element. There's 3 ways they sell their product. Now, Mirafel Pamuton is one of the executive leaders who brought this product into Canada, a partner of mine, I suppose, in the company. If you're going to deal with somebody, because we're watching out for scammers right now in this COVID thing, be very aware of scammers and predators coming out of the woodwork, like I talked about the other day on one of my videos. So Marifel, this person is a woman, and myself would know if someone is presenting an offer to you on this product. She joined the company along with her husband Jesse at about 5 years ago, roughly just under 5 years ago, when it first came into Canada. They brought it in. They're the leaders here in Canada. So they would know, or I would know, if someone is a fraud and they're trying to present to you an idea on this product that's not legit. Now that's one way, as someone who's distributing it one-to-one. Now the other way is you can walk into certain stores and buy it in a storefront. And I'm one of those guys in that I market to the corporate world my training and products. So health is one of my sectors. In fact, it's my third of my top 3 in my 7 market economies I've identified where I focus and prioritize my energy. Agriculture, oil and gas, and the health and finance sector. And in that health sector is the humanitarian world as well, and church and all that. I accommodate that as part of your success because of the spiritual health side. You need that. You got to have your body, mind, and spirit working proficiently. So the corporate world, health being a target segment customer of mine, there's some stores you can walk into that are health stores. You may find the Chiani product on the shelf. I can't accommodate to that just yet. I know I've been dealing with one client in that sector. They've got 34 stores across Western Canada, and I won't say the name, but they're a health supplement company. And we were in talks to put my products, Chiani, on the shelf. I had to step back for a bit because they went through some change in executive leadership. So until that resumes, I mean, there's nothing I can do in resuming the talk. But that, you'll likely find the product on that particular chain, and I'll come more talking about it when that's complete. That's one of the things I'm working on. And then the third way to buy the product in a very proficient way is just go on the website and buy it directly off the company, ChianiScience.com. And they're based here locally in the western half of North America, Pacific Northwest, Western Canada, part of our segment of the continent in Idaho, not far from where we live right here in Calgary. Now, if you are going to buy it direct off the website, I accommodate this. Why wouldn't you just punch in my ID number, 275-3261, I suppose, because you heard it here first from me as I've promoted the proficient health benefits of the company in this product, the science behind it, the miracle health of it, how it solved the chronic problems, the optimum energy level that you get. You've heard it here, so pay me back the reward, please, I'm asking, by putting my ID number in when you place your order. And then they'll show you how to go from there on the website, on the tutorial, how to set up your account and make your file and your order happen and all that, and your auto ship, so it can become just like your power bill or your light bill, you know, or your cell phone bill or whatever. It can be auto debit right out of your account. You don't even have to think about it again. You'll get into the routine. But anyway, so that's that. And maybe, hopefully, a lot of people don't have to die if that's the case. I'm thinking it could solve this COVID thing. I don't know that for a fact, but when it has solved all these other detrimental diseases, what's the risk in trying? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I don't want to be around to have to clean up all the bodies if people just keep dying. That's one benefit to me to proportion it this way, aside from making some money. But some of my friends, you know, I want to keep them around. And if they don't know about this because I haven't told them, or they haven't seen it on my website media, I suppose, in fact, you know, people die for the lack of knowledge. When you have the knowledge and you don't choose to take it up, that's a whole other degree of stupidity, right? And unfortunately, some of the friends or people I know, I'm just going to have to say goodbye to you because I know COVID's probably going to wipe you out. I know how you live your mopey, whiny, complaining, negative life, and you're always concerned about nobody but yourself. And that's probably why I don't see you too much in recent years. But when you're weak and susceptible and you have a negative attitude, those are going to be the first people to go. Not the strong inside. Strong will survive. Survival of the fittest. That has been a rule of economics in the life we live, in the kingdom of animals, I suppose, in science behind it, the mysteries of the universe, all of it, from the beginning of eternity, beginning of time. That has been a rule or a law. So the stronger you are, emotional, your heart health, your attitude, your physical body, the better off you are. And it does take work. Those who suffer do not perish because you suffer for the right things. No pain, no gain. And I suppose when I talk about the close of business, I equate the economy of what I do and the science behind my ethics and belief and the way I systematize my work and everything I dwell in my economy of things, in my company, my training and project company, I suppose, customer service management, sales management, I mentioned at the beginning, I suppose, is the way we present ourselves. One of them, there's a few ways we say it and do it. I'll mention more on the next videos. But you know, this is how we go. And in the close of business, when a company has presented you everything you need to know, and we're old school, I'll use it and equate the example of ancient history of Jesus, how he died on the cross. As I studied into the life of Jesus and how he died on the cross, that was the big package deal for everybody. And if you want, go back to Gulf Tip 3 and read the advice, so point 1, 2, 3. That's the simple. The salvation of mankind in humanity for eternity. You get to live forever. You don't ever have to die. Your physical body may perish from this COVID thing, but you will live forever on your soul into a new body in the heaven and earth beyond this temporary, temporal life. And so that's the big deal. The close was he just died on that cross and he said, it's finished. And when they questioned him, he'd said enough in the 3 years of his life and doing the business of his Father in heaven. He'd said enough. He wasn't going to debate anymore. When they questioned him, he just said, and this is how I am. Sometimes, some ways, with a lot of people. When you know that you know that you know, and you're just asking me a question to provoke me or a response to get, I'm not going to get agitated. I'll just smile at you. Shrug my shoulder, yeah, I guess, oh well. Jesus just said, as you say, that's all he said. And he went and he finished it and he said, it's finished. And he died for you and me and the salvation and of all that. I won't even get into that part of it, but that's ancient history. And I want to use that as an example or a stereotype of our close. We've presented you and portioned you all about our training and project company. You know that you know that you know. And in our sales management courses this fall, there's going to be probably up to 35 people per course, maybe more, maybe up to 60, in 4 particular settings, 2 in Hawaii, 1 in Toronto, and 1 in Vancouver. And if you think you're supposed to be there, and I am not calling you anymore, maybe I've given you time to think about it, but hopefully you're in a spot in one of those chairs when we reach our limit and the time has run out, and not somebody else. But you know what? Somebody's going to be there, and that's the thing. And I guess, you know, tomorrow's another day. I might talk to you about 1 or 2 other things. Well, actually, why don't we go into it a bit right now? The helicopter refute. I was thinking about this. It's a good example of how people get into the miracle realm depending on God. And you can hear 2 sermons. I sometimes check them out online because it encourages me. Go on myhomechurch.ca, Red Deer. Jake and Mullen preached a message March 29th this past weekend. It's about hope. It will give you hope. You need hope at this time. As much as you need good health, you need hope in here. So go do that. It will help build hope. I listened to it, and there's just some good ancient wisdom and scriptural history that gets in there and encourages hope in you. And you can, and I talk about all this stuff too, but I sometimes find it in other sources. A lot of times it's just my own personal way I live. But sometimes, why do a bunch of hard work when somebody else already did it? Use the cheat note and go listen to what they said, right? And that's good. And I, through my timeline, and another one is John Dirksen at the Strathmore Alliance this past March 29th weekend as well. And he's got a good one on truth ethics of the Bible and what we believe in Jesus and all that. And he kind of walks through it in a very subtle, soft, kind way. You don't have to feel intimidated one bit. And in my timeline in the last number of years, I've encouraged you to check out different sources, right? Not just listen to me, even though you could just listen to me and that would be enough, probably, perhaps. Well, one of the things I know is God knows, help yourself. That's the first step always. Do what you can, and don't wait around on some miracle to happen when you're praying, I suppose, in the spiritual ethic of our body, mind, spirit dwelling of personal leadership for your daily priorities, your daily stance as you walk into the marketplace and do your work. Is you pray and you look for help sometimes. I've experienced the odd miracle in life. It often came through a human being. Another situation happened that might not have if I wouldn't have been praying. And on top of my own skill and way I do things, accommodating my own success in that perhaps. And, God appreciates that. He wants us to do our best. And there are Bible prophets, and I call them false prophets in modern day, who teach things like God doesn't help those that help himself. That's a wrong statement. And I don't believe that. Those people are a fallacy in the faith, because that would mean you don't have to do anything. Nothing. And although that can happen at times, God will help people that can't help themselves. He still wants to stretch our faith to try stuff on our own, because it's good for us to develop our own faith and our own stance in life. And even a homeless person who has to get up out of the gutter to go to the soup kitchen to get fed that day still had to do something to help himself to go get fed. So nobody can tell me in this world anywhere that's a wrong statement, that the Lord helps those that help themselves. And you hear religion is so whacked sometimes. I can hardly, but you got to relate to people and stay connected, because if you dismiss all your friends when they get a bit whacked, you wouldn't have any when you're Bernie May or somebody else. Like, it can get that way at times, right? So you got to just sort of kind of sort it out with people and get along and try to figure and recommend to them maybe they need to think different sometimes. They're thinking a bit whacked. Now, this orange can take you a different way. For $1 a day, you can get vitamin C. And I suppose years ago, there was people dying in these old ancient plagues, and scurvy was one of them the ocean men would get as they traveled in these old sailing boats for long distances and many months. They didn't have enough vitamin C. That might help you. I can't guarantee it. All I can tell you is what I told you on the Kiani Success product. And anyways, I was telling you about the Helecoptor refute. So let's finish that story and I'll wrap up. These 2 hikers go out to hike the Grand Canyon, and I suppose they're a bit like me in their demeanor, not just inspired by faith in their total recause of life as they go around and things and move forward and live life and do it well and take up business as it comes and all that. But they were like me in that not just the inspiration side, they wanted to and were trying to live grounded in the principles of ancient old faith from history, in their day. And this fable is from about 100 years ago, and I don't know if it exists today, or it's probably might not even be true, but it doesn't matter. It makes a point. And so the point was these guys were trying to do this, but they kind of had some flaws in their belief in the way they lived their faith. Even though they had the right approach or attitude, some of the things they were believing were wrong. So they set out on the hike and they prayed before they went, because they were a spiritual component in their total being, just like myself, I suppose, or whoever, in faith. God, we know there's these floods that go through the Grand Canyon. Will you save us if there's a flood? And they felt like God said to them, I will save you, my sons, in your hike, in your journey. So off they go. They felt confident. And they pitched their tent the first night. And it was raining, and the waters started to come up. And another hiker came by, and he had some pack mules on the side of the hill. And he said, the rain is coming pretty heavy, and I don't think your tent should be there. And I can help give you guys a lift up further to a ledge, and it'll help you out here if you want. And they said, oh, no, God's going to save us. We're going straight down the valley along the river's edge, the perfect scene for us. God is going to save us. So they move on, and they get to the next ledge, I suppose, and the water keeps coming up. And this is on the next day. And they're by their tent side. And next thing you know, a guy in one of those raft boats comes down the river. Those hydroplaning ones with the air in the big tube, and the guy standing at the wheel, and the jets shooting out the back. And this guy offers to give him a ride, because the floods are coming up, and it's starting to get to the edge of their tent. And no, God's going to save us. God's going to save us. And so then they didn't go anywhere, but on the third night they waited there, because they were hoping, well, God will save us. We can't go on. We're wet. We're tired. Well, now their tent is half underwater, and they're climbing up on a tree branch, and in comes a guy in a helicopter, and he sees them there stranded, and he offers to help them. No, God's going to save us. God's going to save us. So they end up drowning, and they go up to heaven, and they get up to the pearly gates, and they talk to God right after they get by St. Peter, I suppose, and they said, God, I thought you were going to save us. He goes, well, I sent you 3 different chances to be saved. The pack mule, guy with the pack mule, the guy with the boat, and the guy with the helicopter. But you didn't take any of them up. And so they didn't know what to say, but the point is, God gives us lots of chances. Christianity's a miracle. I offer this to you wholeheartedly to try. And, do with it what you will. But, quit praying. Don't quit praying for your salvation, because that's eternal life. And those guys, I suppose, were saved in that regard. But maybe they could have lived more down on earth here in the cause they were in. I suppose, like me, I'm trying. Others, I suppose. But, maybe if you're looking for solutions and you're praying for miracles for this COVID thing, maybe there's a guy talking to you here today on this 30-minute video. And maybe his name is Bernie May from Connections Consulting, a business offering of product and services company that's only been formed in the marketplace the last 3 years. I'm well known enough at this point. I launched in 2017, registered in 2006, and I've been doing market projects, I said, for 12 years on the last video, since I started doing micronutrient crop input sales through the Pacific Northwest and Western Canada in 2008 to 2011, and carried through on a number of other companies since, leading me up to my launch. And if you're looking for solutions And it's good that we hear that kids sing on CTV News and all these things, and that provides some hope. But you know what? There's no reassurance. Nobody's talking about an antidote. And I'm not a doctor of epidemiology. I'm just Bernie May. I have an MBA in business, a Jack Welch style business MBA where I formed it and created it myself through all my life and courses I've taken, and with a human resource underlining theological degree under it, high executive businesses courses, accounting practitioner, executive leadership, fundamentals of accounting and marketing, time management planning, confidence public speaking, all kinds of stuff. American Marketing Association, Canadian Management Institute. I put it all together, and accustomed to that with my descent into the Bible, learning the theological issues of history and mankind's relationship with himself, his and herself, and how we lean on the Creator or not in all the outcomes of our life and the symptoms of our life. I probably have the equivalent of a doctorate or a PhD in psychology on top of that, but I don't say that. I don't even put anything on my business card. I'm just Bernie May, a common man. Now you can take it to the bank, I suppose, for what it's worth today, but there's 2 points I want to close with, okay? Number one is no pain, no gain. That's a key principle. So if you aren't willing to put out a little bit of effort that causes you to suffer a bit and some pain, you're not going to gain. And I guess the second point is eat an orange. Eat an orange. When all else fails, have an orange. It might help something. But, I don't want to say goodbye to my friends if I lose anybody in this COVID thing. I've kept friends through my whole life. And some of them are better than others. But even the friends that weren't the greatest, that were negative people, I tried to hang on to them. Hopefully you can change people so they become more positive about life and living and the effort we put in to make it all happen. The dream or whatever it is, surviving, passing something down to your kids, whatever. And, I've never wanted to lose anybody. And I've taken people under my wing at times in my life where I knew it was going to cost me because I knew that guy would let me down. And he couldn't even live up to the commitments I was making on his behalf about my recommendations of him and my word on my reputation. But I wanted to give the guy a chance because he was my friend. And so I'd introduce people cautiously sometime, but still try to back them and apportion it that way. So if we go from there, if you got no friends left, who you got? This is a time to make new friends. I have officially dubbed this, what I have said from 2003 till now, has been the apocalyptic era, I suppose, moving out of the millennials after Gen X. The apocalyptic age are all the 17-year-olds and down. Starting on Sunday, I have dubbed a new era. It's called the Whoa era. Whoa, dude, whoa. And the reason I'm calling it that, because we're moving into new times again. And in these times, it's a time of family. It's a time of business, making the best of you can out of this wreck we've been in for the last 2 decades, because globalism has caused a wreck. And the symptom is not only corporate profits, but it's family wreck everywhere. So making the best business you possibly can, family, and new friends, I suppose, because it's never too late to make new friends. I got many new friends. Blaze at the A&W, I suppose, is a new friend, because I pull up there to order my breakfast hamburger thing this morning or my bacon and eggs. He goes, "Hey, haven't seen you in a while." Well, that's how friends talk to each other. I get that at Original Joe's, wherever, Origin Malt, the places I go. Okay? I love people. I don't say it like Jake and Mullen, I suppose, or whatever. I say it like me. I don't talk about love that much. I talk about kindness. underneath that, purporting it as the same thing, I suppose. Whatever. You got to be the best you got to be for you. You. You can do it. You can be what you are. So I'm going to go with that. And these are new times. Family, new friends, new business, the best business we can accommodate from the wreck of the last 2 decades. And we're now in the woe era. Amen. CCI, Good Samaritan Pro, has lent a lot to this conversation from our nonprofit arm of our company, our humanitarian arm, I suppose. But we are primarily a business training and products company, services, projects, deemed on making profits every year after year. And we do bring in this element of spiritual life, body, mind, and spirit for your whole being, so you can dwell and accommodate yourself in a good life. Bernie May, Connections Consulting, wconnectionscon.ca. Come on one of our adventure trips of the Connections Mountain Adventures arm of our company, the canoe team, the retreat, or the leadership backpack adventure on the coast this fall. Amen.